The second part of the question asks the velocity. So the velocity is going to be the change in position, which we just found, divided by the time. So we just found the position was 5 meters, and the time it took was between 2 seconds and 5 seconds is 3 seconds. Or you can think of it as t final minus t initial. So you have 5 meters, the final time was 5 seconds, and the initial time was 2 seconds. So 5 meters divided by 3 seconds is going to give us 1.67 meters per second. So that's number 12 on that page. Haley, hopefully that helps you out. All right, just kind of scrolling through the other questions you guys have been asking. Practice exam choice 2, numbers 21, 46, 50, maybe 53. Okay, and page with the answers I missed from the practice question. For sure, Abby. Ava, I'll jump to your question first, and then I'll go back and go through those questions. Abby, did you want to put in the last question you had an answer for, and then I know where to start from? I had intended to load them, but I didn't. Sorry, I just forgot which exam you were looking at, Ava. Practice exam choice number 2, which is inconveniently exam number 1. Just give that a second to load up. Just to make sure that this is the right exam. With the pretty picture to start. And 214650. Is this the one we're looking at? Ava, with the 2 pictures, pine beetle, forest destroyed by pine beetle? Or do I have the wrong exam? I'll pretend I have the right one until you tell me otherwise. Which of the following outcomes is a result of the pine beetle infestation? So the key word here is a result of pine beetle. So is it really the other one? Devastating. Let's try this all over again. I picked 1, but it's actually 2. That's what you're telling me. Oh my goodness. Now I'm really confused, Ava. No, the other one. Yes, that's it. The pine beetle question? I have it. All right, good. The result of the pine beetle infestation. So winter temperatures in the region actually caused the pine beetle infestation. Yeah, it's backwards. That was my fault, Ava. I put them in backwards. So it's cause and effect type thing. The warmer winter isn't a result of the pine beetle. So anything with a 1 in it's going to be wrong, which only leaves 1 question answer, which is kind of convenient. Secondary succession will result because all of the trees will be dead, and infected trees will be highly flammable, potential for wildfires will increase. So the key thing here is the result of the pine beetle infestation. The warmer winter temperatures cause the pine beetle infestation, not the other way around. The temperature isn't warmer because there were beetles in the area. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. Let's get the other ones. Thank you for putting those in, Abby. 2146 50. 45. Enzymes in the digestive system are examples of biological catalysts. What role do enzymes perform? They speed up chemical reactions. Remember, enzymes aren't actually taking part in a chemical reaction. They don't necessarily increase the temperature, so I don't like that one. And they have nothing to do with concentration. So definitely just A. Remember, that's the purpose of an enzyme, is to speed up a reaction. They're not a product because enzymes aren't a reactant or a product in a reaction. And they don't increase the temperature and they don't increase the concentration. Those were two other ways we could make things faster. Is this not the right exam? Ava, are we still on the wrong exam? Yes, it's the right exam. No, it's the wrong exam, Mr. Borden. That's what I need. The half-life of chromium-51 is 28 days, 150 grams, 56 days earlier. It's a tricky question. Just give you a second before. I don't know what that means though, Ava, because the time delay. I need you to write in, this is the right exam or this is the wrong exam, because it's all quite confusing for me to understand what you are trying to get at. So, right exam, wrong exam. The one I'm going through right now is right or wrong. You're still confusing me. I'm just going to keep going through these questions. All right, so we have half-life, we have time, the amount. This is the wrong exam. Yes, that's all I needed. All right, I can go to the other one. The one that starts with, which of the following lists only abiotic factors? Is this the correct exam, Ava? You can answer with a yes or a no. Time delays especially long today. I'm not moving anywhere until you tell me if this is the right or the wrong exam. Yes, definitely this one. All right. All right, let's go back to the same questions on a new exam. Number 21, 46, 50. 21. In order to show spread of mountain pine beetle, isn't that weird? The same question on the next exam is about mountain pine beetle, just like it was in the first exam. They don't get too creative when they make these exams. In order to slow the spread of mountain pine beetle, 8,000 hectares of mature forest in western Alberta were burned. 5 years after the fire, which of the following statements would be true? Life would not have returned to the area. I think this is what you were asking about last day. Biodiversity will be greater than before the fire. A climax community will have developed. The mountain pine beetle will have proliferated in the area. So the mountain pine beetle will be gone because there won't be any pine trees left. Life will not have returned to the area. That's not going to be true. Look at like the south slopes of Kelowna after our fire. There's lots of life there. I can see why you asked about this. It's kind of a weird question. "8,000 hectares, 5 years after the fire, which of the following statements would be true?" Life will have returned to the area. So this says that it will not have returned to the area. So that's not going to be right. The climax community will have been established. No, 5 years isn't enough for a climax community. And the mountain pine beetle will have proliferated in the area. No, that wouldn't happen 5 years after because all those trees are gone. So I know I kind of answered this question wrong last day. Well, in terms of this specific example I was trying to explain without a context. I think the answer to this question is more a result of everything else being wrong. So biodiversity would be greater. I mean, it's kind of debatable, but everything else is wrong. So I think you just have to go with 21 being B, because everything else is wrong. Maybe it's not maybe it's not right necessarily, it's just not wrong. Kind of weird. What else did we have? 4650. '43, 45. In the experiment using pH indicators, the factor being tested is, They prepare 4 test tubes containing 10 milliliters of the same HCl solution. They add 1 tablet to test tube 1, 2 tablets to test tube 2, 3 tablets to test tube 3, no tablets to test tube 4. After 10 minutes, they test the contents of each tube with pH indicators. In the experiment, using pH indicators, the factor being tested is... This is a really strange question. Oh, they're performing an experiment to test the effectiveness of antacid tablets. So if I have a test tube with HCl in it, and I add an antacid, that's going to be like a base. So we could go like sodium hydroxide. So it's going to neutralize the acid. So theoretically, the concentration of acid should be lower here, even lower here, and there should be no change there. So factor being tested is going to be concentration. The more tablets you add, the increase or the more sodium hydroxide or whatever base, your little tablet here, the more tablets you add, the more... I'm just reading your question. Do they expect us to know an antacid is a base? It is concentration for sure. It's not catalyst. Antacid, anti-acid, I guess it's kind of vague. Now you know. I mean, this is kind of these silly questions on these types of things. Even if you didn't know an antacid was a base, you would know that if I added more of something, the concentration would increase. Think about if I had a glass of iced tea, and in the first one I just had, maybe I put like 1 little scoop in there. The second one, I had the same amount of water, which is kind of like HCl in the question, but I put 2 scoops in there. And then the third one, I put 3 scoops in there. So now we're talking about concentration. 1 scoop is going to kind of make it a little sweet, and then this one's going to be really sweet, and then the last one is going to be the sweetest if you're making iced tea at home or something like that. So it's a concentration thing. If you didn't know that an antacid was a base, then I think you'd be okay anyways, if you really thought about it. All right, 21, 46, 50, and 53. Which of the following describes this process? This looks like induced fusion, so this is probably uranium. We have a neutron, splits apart into 2 big things, 3 more neutrons are created. Nuclear fusion, energy is released. The mass of the products is less than the reactants. No. Wow. The mass of the products is less than the mass of the reactants. No. So 1 and 2. Why not 3? Yeah, did I say fusion? I'm sorry. Oh, the nuclear fusion. That says fusion. I misread it. Energy is going to be released, and the mass of the products is less than the mass of the reactants. So it's not that. So we can... This is one of these ones where we can just eliminate wrong answers and get the right answer. So this isn't fusion. This is definitely fission happening. So anything with a 1 in it, we can get rid of. That was easy. It doesn't even matter if 2 and 3 are both true. We automatically know that it has to be C if we understand the definition of fusion. So because this is fission happening, we don't even need to know the other ones. Just because of process of elimination. It can't be A, it can't be B, and it can't be D. So it has to be C. Energy does get released, and the mass of the products is less than the mass of the reactants because energy is released. Mass gets converted to energy. We never really talked about it, but E equals mc squared. The mass of the products is less because some of that mass is getting converted to energy. But that wasn't what the question was asking. It was just asking a basic fusion definition in a really complex manner. 53. Another appropriate unit for velocity on this graph. I guess it's just asking for units of motion. This is going to be a distance, this is going to be a distance, this is going to be a velocity, and this is going to be acceleration. So the only possible choice could be C, which really has nothing to do with the graph. Weird question. There's a lot of weird questions on this test, maybe because you asked about all the weird ones. All right. Did that Haley fusion 59? Sure, why not? Ball rolls down a ramp from rest and velocity increases to 4. This is an example of uniform motion, 0 acceleration, positive acceleration, negative acceleration. What do you think about that one, Ava? I don't think that's a terribly difficult one. I have a feeling whatever answer you've picked is right. Uniform motion means that the velocity is constant. So this is saying that its velocity is increasing. So we know it's not uniform motion. Well, in this case, it's saying, is negative acceleration the negative direction or opposite the direction of velocity? It depends on what we've defined as being positive. So it said that the object is going down this ramp and its velocity increases to positive 4. So anything going in the direction of to the right is going to be positive. Is the acceleration in that direction, or is the acceleration in the other direction? When you put a ball on the top of a hill, or you're sitting on your bike on the top of a hill, and you start coasting down the hill, do you speed up? Do you slow down? Do you stop? Do you go at a constant speed? I'd say if I put a ball on top of a ramp, it would speed up as it went down the ramp. So your velocity is going to increase, means your acceleration is positive. If the ball were slowing down, then we could maybe say it's negative acceleration, but definitely positive acceleration, not 0. And everything going to the right is positive. Oh, because it's going down. I see what you're saying. It's not in free fall though. I wouldn't confuse an object on a ramp with an object in free fall. And yeah. Because it's going down. I kind of get what you're saying there. But it's also going to the right. So definitely positive acceleration. I see why you were confused. So when you see those ramp take the direction of the ramp is going instead of up or down? Yeah. Yeah, when you're doing a ramp question. How about something like this? If I have a ramp, here's my ramp, and I'm rolling a ball up the ramp. And as it goes up the ramp, it's going to come to a stop at the top of the ramp. I say my velocity right here, I'll say it was 2 meters per second. And I didn't explicitly say it's positive, but it is positive. What if I asked about this, the exact same question, same answer choices, in this scenario? I'm saying everything to the right is positive because my velocity is positive. What would the acceleration be here? Is the object speeding up or slowing down? Well, as it goes up the ramp, it's stopped here. So it's slowing. It's going to be negative acceleration. Perfect. So same question, just a different scenario. I think you got it now, Ava. All right. Whew, this is a lot of work for me today. Thinking on my toes. Okay, Abby, I'll get to those questions for sure. We had the right exam. We got 59, negative, did that. I think you're good. Perfect, thank you, Ava. That's great. Sorry about the mix-up on the exam. Abby will jump back over to the exam we did in class, and you said you wanted questions 49 to 67. All right, 49. 50. It's 49C, 50 is C. 51 was B. 52 is C. 53B. 54A. 55A. 56D, 57B, 58D, 59B, 60 is C, 61A, 62 is C, 63B, 64B, 65. Why didn't I finish this? How much time can cannonball spin in the air? Change of velocity. Did I really not do 65? Weird. So change of velocity was negative 33 minus 0 divided by negative 9.8, whatever that is. 3.36, 3.4 seconds. 65 is B. 66 B. 67 D. I think that was it. Do you have any questions about any of those, Abby? Anything that I said that you're like, well, I got something different? If not, we'll leave it there. For now, and yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks for sticking around, Abby and Ava. If you guys run into anything else, just let me know and send me a message, or we can go through it on Monday's class. Uh, 50? Sure, let's go look at 50. Which of the following could undergo fusion? to produce helium-3. So what I was saying was that everything in this question, in order to have something fused together, we have two things. Let's say this had a mass of 2 and a mass of 2. Those fused together, they're going to give me a mass of 4, just on a very basic scale. Well, I know I'm going to end up with helium-3, which has an atomic mass of 3 and an atomic number of 2. So if I have two things that are combining together to give me a mass of 3, those two things would have to be smaller than 3. So I couldn't use helium-4 because I can't add anything to 4 to make it less than 4. And same with carbon-14. It's just these things are all too big. The only thing that's smaller than 3 is hydrogen-2. So in this case, I would have hydrogen-2 and I guess a neutron, or maybe just hydrogen. So deuterium and just regular hydrogen combining together. Everything else is just too big. So that was kind of an interesting type question, but there you go. I would say that's 100% true, Ava. What you put in is what you're going to get out. And you guys both put in so much time throughout the semester that you learned all the information along the way. There's going to be a lot of students that didn't learn stuff along the way, and now they're going back to relearn material. But because you guys have done so well throughout, you've learned it. And it's just a matter of refreshing your memory, which is a really great position to be in. I think you guys will both finish with an A, even if you just write your name on the test anyways. It's not like you can end up with a B anyways. So there's absolutely zero pressure on you two to get a good mark on this test, other than just your own internal pressure. If you lose, the 12%, 12.5% for not writing the exam, you still finish with an A. Magical thing, putting in all that hard work along the way. Perfect. Thanks, guys. I will see you guys on Monday, and hope you guys have a great weekend.